Hey, it's Pastor Dan from Dexter Gospel Church with our next Proverbs Practical. Thanks for watching. In our last Proverbs Practical, we saw an observation about the blessings we can have in family relationships. This next verse gives us a warning about laziness. We're in Proverbs 19:15. Proverbs 19:15 says, "Slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and an idle soul shall suffer hunger." For much of the history of much of the population of much of the world, laziness was not much of an option. You had to work hard just to stay alive, and even with hard work, you might not make it. But anytime there's prosperity or even safety, there's an opportunity for this to crop back up again. In Solomon's day, his father David had beaten back their aggressive enemies, purchasing hard-fought peace. Between David's policies and Solomon's own, that peace was extended and prosperity ensued. And so without the threat of imminent death, laziness became a real option, at least in the minds of many, I'm sure. But it wasn't to Solomon. If anybody had the opportunity to be lazy, it was probably him. Once he had the throne secured with his brothers taken care of, he had all of the power, prosperity, comfort, and so on that money and position could buy. But if you look at his record, even when he wasn't walking with the Lord, he was walking. He wasn't sitting idle. He was building, he was politicking, he was studying, he was writing, and more. In his studies and observations, he saw the dangers of laziness and idleness. Now, the first phrase warns that sitting around doing nothing leads to falling asleep. Now, that might be nice for a short nap, but Solomon's concern is that once you are asleep, you can't do anything else. You can't interact anymore. You're not only not doing anything, you're not capable of doing anything until your state changes, until you're awoken. And it says slothfulness casts into a deep sleep. And so laziness not only kind of puts you to sleep, it also makes it hard to wake up, hard to get back into motion. It takes a person from not doing anything to not being able to do anything. There's a saying among athletes that I do today what others will not, so tomorrow I can do what they cannot. This is the opposite of that. It's saying I'm not going to do today what I could, and then tomorrow I won't even be able to because of that. Once a person becomes incompetent because they were inactive, it's hard to break that inertia and get them moving in a different direction. It takes a concerted effort, usually from the outside, to wake the person up because they're deep asleep, not responsive to the normal stimuli around them, not capable of making active, conscious decisions on their own. Now, the second phrase of the verse says that an idle soul shall suffer hunger. Now, I think it's interesting that he calls it the idle soul. There are those who labor with their bodies, and their minds are kind of free to wander or ponder. Their work is monotonous and doesn't take much thought, but it's still work. Their mind may not be working hard, but their body certainly is. There are those also who labor with their minds, thinking, studying, reasoning, perhaps speaking or writing. Their bodies might not get much exercise through that labor, but it's still work. And so instead of saying the idle body will be hungry, the idle mind will be hungry, he says the idle soul. The soul has to do with our life or our identity. When you're not working at all, not in body, not in mind or in spirit, when that absence of labor characterizes a person's life, not just for a time of rest, because everyone does need to rest from time to time, but as a way of life, well, that person is destined to do without. They will end up lacking the things that most people around them have. It won't be because the deck was stacked against them or they were unlucky. It was because they didn't work when the chance was there. Thomas Edison said, "Opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work." Don't miss your opportunities because you're not willing to work. On the positive side, one of my favorite athletes, wrestler Jordan Burroughs, likes saying, "Hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard." Choosing to outwork the competition can lead to tremendous success over time. And these principles are especially powerful today, in a culture where the external motivators aren't as obvious. We aren't as likely to die if we're lazy. We do have a chance at much greater success if we work hard. We have safety nets and we have liberties. And so this makes laziness easier to slip into and hard work that much more effective. May we make the wise choice to work hard, whatever our endeavor. If this video is a help to you, give it a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel for more content like it. We'd love to hear from you in the comments or see you in person here at Dexter Gospel Church. Our next video for the evening should start in just a few minutes.